There's also one law that was passed by the Republic of Ghana's parliament, the 8th parliament that is. Family Values Bill. President of the Republic is yet to assent to that bill. I know that there are people who are going out on the streets for that sake. But that's why I have two women in studio, accomplished in their own rights, to engage in a conversation to see the way forward. Dr. Ekwia Mwakun is the MPP's National Communications Team member. Hajia Gloria Nasiratu Aminu is a leader, a youth leader indeed, Communications Team member, Movement for Change. Ladies, good morning and welcome. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Great, and I'm sure we are all fine. In high spirits. When you first heard that the Family Values Bill had been passed, what ran through your mind, Hajia?
I was quite surprised. Even though I didn't know the basics and then whether it's true or not, I was in worry. Yes, because I also have kids. I'm a mother.
Right.
And then it was quite disturbing to know the youth of Ghana today and their mindset and behavior.
Right.
It was quite worrying for me, yes.
And for you, you were not so sure if we needed that particular law now, or you were so sure in your mind that we needed it now?
We need it. We need it. It's very, 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 very important, and we need it to be passed now. It's a matter of urgency. Yes.
Doc, what about you? What ran through your mind? What did you think?
Okay, so on the issue of the Family Rights Bill, I think it's one that it speaks to the fabric of a society. So in Ghana, we've always had a very conservative society,
Right.
and laws of any country should reflect the values of the people. So if the people of Ghana think we should have this bill, I mean, I think it's absolutely within the rights of the people of Ghana to do that. I think the issue becomes there are a few human rights aspects to look at with consideration to the bill, and I believe that's what has had the matter held up in court.
Right.
Yes. So I mean, the people of Ghana want the bill passed. I've heard a few people say they don't want their kids being taught certain things in school. I obviously agree. I don't think that kind of education should be taught in school at all, whether it's hetero or whatever. That's not the reason why we go to school.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely something that especially the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has said after it works its way through the Supreme Court, if he is elected president, he's going to assent. It's not an issue.
But all this legal tussle, Supreme Court, whatever it is, and all the suits that are there, would not have been occasioned if the president had just gone ahead to assent.
No, I think right after, you see, when bills are passed, there are constitutional processes that have to be...
Agreed.
Yes, exactly. So after the first, the bill passed through Parliament, somebody, I think it was Prince, I'm trying to remember the name, but it was a Prince, yes. He immediately sent the matter to a Supreme Court on issues of human rights violations. And then another, I think there have been 3 people that have sent the issue to court.
Right.
And those people are also within their constitutional rights to do that. So to make the law such that it stands the test of time and it has the support of everybody involved, I think these processes are absolutely necessary so that finally when it comes out, it's a comprehensive document that does not go against the constitution of our land, and it's something that everybody can get behind. So I think that's just there. And with I saw yesterday also that Honorable Sam George is going on.
There's a demonstration.
And I don't understand.
Why don't you understand?
If anybody should understand the concept of separation of powers, it is Honorable Sam George, who is a member of our legislature, isn't it? So the 3 arms of government are supposed to coexist, but they are supposed to do their own thing.
Independence.
Yes. So if there's an issue with the judiciary, why do we usurp the judiciary and sign it? It has to come to a logical...
You think it's usurping?
No, I mean, if we go and sign without that's being resolved,
He has held the view that those people who are in court, for example, had the opportunity when the draft was presented to Parliament, to plenary, then to committee. They had the opportunity to present their memoranda. and they failed to present their memoranda. So trying to gazump the process after the act has been passed, awaiting presidential assent.
They have the right to send the case to a Supreme Court. I'm not saying I agree with what they are doing, but they absolutely, it's within their right to do that, and he should know that. So, I mean, just allow the processes to go through. I saw one of the justices come to say there have been delays in filing of some of these things. And we know the way the wheels of justice in our country grind. They grind slowly. There's not something anybody is happy about. But sadly, that's the situation. So for Honorable Sam George, I mean, I'm beginning to be tempted to think that it's just becoming one of the things that the NDC does, where because they're unable to articulate their policies, they will not be able to come here and tell you, that's one thing I've really expected to be doing since we started this campaign. Let's come and sit here, tell the people of Ghana what we did, what we plan to do. And those are the kind of that's the kind of information that Ghanaians need to be able to make a correct decision on December 7th. But the NDC seems to be filled with just trying to always distract so that we don't talk about how they are unable to articulate their policies. So let me just quickly use this opportunity to explain one of the things that we want to do that I find very, very nice. That's, I mean, we're not getting enough time to talk about it.
You should buy airtime.
Oh, don't worry.
We'll sell airtime.
We'll look into that. But just quickly on that, because that's something that I believe would help the country in the long run.
I hope it's related to what we're discussing.
I mean,
if not, if you derail us, then it will not be fair to Hajia, because Hajia also needs to have a bite on the going issues. So let me go to Hajia, and then let me go to Hajia. Hajia, so now this is what Doc thinks. She thinks that, look, Sam Jordan should be the best person to understand the processes and not seek to put a spanner in the works for the judiciary. This morning, as we speak, there are people gathered at Obra Sports getting ready to hit the streets for this sake, to get the president to sign on to this. What do you think?
For me, it's a very big issue when it comes to NDC and EPP trying to always use agendas for their own political selfishness. Let me use that word. It's quite unfortunate because we all need this bill to be passed. Just as I said, as a youth and a mother, it's very important. I'm not saying I'm trying to deviate from the topic or something, but we shouldn't attach political backgrounds to these issues, especially when it comes to this particular thing, when it comes to Galamsey and all that. We should not be talking about politics in this issue. This is a very, very, very important thing, because if you see the way the youth of Ghana are deviating, it is a wake-up call for all of us.
I hope the considerations of international aid and support for us, which could be truncated if this goes through, is also on your mind while you push this advocacy.
Of course, but then let's see. We are Ghanaians. We should not throw away our culture. There is something particular about us, and it is unique. So if we are looking about the aid, we have our natural resources which we are wasting. So why not focus on us, our Ghanaian resources, how we can help ourselves, and always stop depending on the international aid. I'm not saying it's not so important, but other countries are doing it. We can also do it and then concentrate on
It's easier said than done.
It is, but if we focus and do it, Ghanaian mindsets can be changed if we focus on our own products, our own developing and then maintaining our own, rather than focusing on international aid.
Another argument that has been made is that, for example, you're going to these countries to go and beg and ask them for support of all sorts.
Yes.
And those places have these things that you are trying to so hard prevent with a law there. And some of the people who actually sit around the table to approve of the aid that comes to you are actually people who are, allowing some of these rights to be enforced there.
Yes.
So what really are you fighting? You don't eat dog meat, but you can use your teeth to divide it to share for children to eat.
It's true. It's a worry too. It is. But then if we stand firm because of the future of the youth and our kids, why not fight? Yes, so I think...
Doc, what is holding the president from going ahead to sign this? Because it looks like the Christians are asking for it, the Muslims are asking for it, and you even find traditional, people within the traditional sect asking for it. It does appear that the president has not had a definite opinion on this matter, which is what is holding him back from signing this. Is that the case?
No, not at all. As I said earlier, the matter is before court. So we have a president who is a lawyer. He's an astute lawyer for that matter. So obviously he would want the processes of the law to come to their terminal end, and he was sent to the bill. I don't see President Nana Addo trying to curtail the rights of people, the wants of the people by saying he will not assent to the bill. And his tenure is ending in about 2 months.
So is that 8 years?
The bill just passed. When did it pass? It just a few years, like a few months ago.
Right. But within the same period, this bill came before the affirmative action bill. He signed the affirmative without blinking.
There was no Supreme Court challenge to the affirmative action bill. And the affirmative action bill is something that had been in Parliament for years. It predates this.
So this should also be in Parliament for years.
We are not saying that. We are saying when all the constitutional kinks are worked out, he was sent to the bill. It is as simple as that. We are all aware of the cases in the Supreme Court against this matter. So why would he just want to let the judiciary finish their oversight, if I want to call that, into the process? And the president
he has had cause to ask the judiciary in some instances to expedite, on their actions on certain matters. Why hasn't he made a definite statement on this one? Suggesting to the judiciary that, look, because the country needs it, can we go ahead? For example, we'll come to the Galamsey issue, but I mean, there are many instances where the president has made a passionate appeal to say, because of the urgency of the times, deal with it this way. And it's been done.
But the family values bill, not to downplay its importance or whatever, but it's you can't compare it to issues like Galamsey. And what is clear to point out is already in the laws of Ghana, some of these things are already against the law. Natural carnal knowledge is already enshrined there against the law. So you can't expect for that level of prioritization to be.
I mean, somebody then would argue that, look, comprehensive sexuality education, which was one of the key ingredients in the whole curriculum or restructuring when we did that in 2018, right? And we wanted to put that subject in the books for the children to study. The Catholic Bishops' Conference, I remember, kicked against it. And up until now, we don't have textbooks. If the president is so minded that the children do not have textbooks, and that is one of the key reasons why we don't have textbooks, because the Catholic Church kicked against it, then I'm sure that should be of priority to us.
No, the comprehensive sexual education has been kicked against.
Sexuality education, right?
It has been kicked against.
It was in the approved text that Naka, Dr. Ama, who is now in Parliament on the ticket of the MPP, had approved to be passed. And the Catholic Bishops' Conference said, no, you can't have that in there. I think the Chief Imam also mentioned that, no, you can't have that in there. Yeah. And because of that, the children, as I speak to you, do not have approved textbooks as we speak.
For that subject.
They don't have approved textbooks. The children.
For that subject.
Not just that subject. So even when the curriculum change does not have approved textbooks, if you ask any teacher at all, they'll tell you, from maths to English to science to whatever it is, we don't have approved textbooks for any of the subjects at all. Now, I'm saying that the comprehensive sexuality education was the thing that held everything back, because Catholic Bishops' Conference said no, we won't agree. The Anglican Church says no. Chief Imam's office says no, and that was what held it back. That should be of priority to the president, because the exercise books is the basis. You're a doctor, you're a PhD holder.
Yes, I'm not a PhD holder anyway.
But that is what
I don't think the issue of signing the bill has anything to do with textbooks. I would have to check on that. I don't like.
No, I'm giving you information.
Oh, no. I also have a lot of sources in the Ministry of Education, and I don't think that the kids don't have textbooks to use. Maybe based on on the new curriculum, they don't have those, but we can't.
No, they don't have textbooks. They don't have approved textbooks.
They don't. So what textbooks?
Cassandra, Kwesi Kwarteng, they will tell you they don't have approved textbooks. The teacher, if I activate the phone lines, the teachers will call
I've been a
it.
teacher and
they don't have approved textbooks.
But that has nothing to do with assigning onto
No,
the
but I'm
bill.
saying the comprehensive sexuality education. What you and I have known when we were in school as male and female. Now we're going to have other neuter and all of that put in there. And then the Catholic Bishops' Conference, the Chief Imam's office, and remember the Anglican Church and somebody says, no, you can't have that in our textbooks.
Yes.
And up until now, we have not been able to print the textbooks. And I'm saying, should that not be a priority to the president?
That is obviously a priority. But what I'm saying is that...
But how is he working at that priority?
You cannot confuse that with signing the bill. How does signing the bill deal with the matter of textbooks? And that's something I'll follow up and then get back to you.
Please
I'll
do.
definitely follow up and get back to you. Because there are two different things. How is signing the bill going to deal with that issue?
I'm talking about signing the bill relative to comprehensive sexuality education.
The bill does it have that comprehensive sexuality?
Well, if you look at the bill, if you read the bill, it then frowns upon confusing. So it's male, female. There's no neutral gender. So it's in the bill.
Yes.
Now, comprehensive sexuality education was going to introduce male, female, and neutral.
I'm pretty sure the direction of that comprehensive sexuality education has been changed. I don't think we are towing that line.
But you have not seen it. How are you sure that it has been changed?
No. It doesn't exist now. Does it exist?
We don't have textbooks.
Nobody is teaching it. So
but because we don't have the textbooks.
No, it's not just because we don't have the textbooks.
But what are they going to instruct the people with?
No, they are not going to. I think the focus on that part, because I also heard Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh a few days ago. I don't remember exactly what he said, is why I didn't want to go on this whole comprehensive sexuality thing about how it predated him and whatnot. So it's obviously something that is not part of the agenda of the government anymore. I think that's very clear. And with the matter of the bill, which is what we are discussing now, it is clear that after the processes go through the Supreme Court, the president was sent to it. The flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party has come out to say, because initially people were coming for him that he hasn't said anything about it, blah, blah. He has come out to say that as soon as the bill has passed through the Supreme Court processes and is found to be not against the Constitution, he is going to sign it, no questions asked. So I think that's what the people need to hear, and that's what's important. The bill will be signed after all the kinks are worked out.
The bill will be signed after all the things are worked out?
Yes, after all the kinks.
That settles it for you, right?
No, not at all.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
Oh,
because,
how?
It doesn't.
All this long talk by your friend doesn't.
No, because as urgent as it is, you see, when I've always been saying this, when the fisher folks came out to say they were not catching enough fish,
right?
Our president was quick. He came out to say that yes, okay, so finally the sea will be closed at certain times, and then they will have to go at certain times to be able to get more fish for our people. 2018, I quite remember the Association of Teachers were organized, and teachers were trained as to the same issue. What you are talking about, the textbooks.
Right, I remember. In fact, the primary school teachers were trained first, and then subsequently the senior level, it lingered for some time.
I was part of those trainings.
So you got some of the cocoa drink which was wrapped in the rubber.
Yes. So you see,
I'd followed this matter, so I know.
This issue was supposed to be treated urgently because it was a big worry. Sometimes I didn't even know how to teach my students because it was heavy on my tongue, saying certain things, you know. So I think this thing shouldn't have been dragged till now. And politics, as I'm always saying, should not be involved in this issue. Our president has to be at the beck and call of we, the Ghanaian citizens, and act urgently as it is. It is a matter of urgency.
Right.
So he has to. So if she's saying yes, it's true, but then It's supposed to be urgent.
Okay,
yes.
I hear you. We'll take a quick break. When we return from the break, we'll get into Galamsey and some other policy issues of both political parties. The NPP is represented here, and the Movement for Change is also represented here. This is Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed star 712 hash and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Dial star 712 hash. Now joining the luckiest winning celebration. Every 1st July 2024. Over dial star 712 hash. Now I can to tickets as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now when is the car prizes are in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Now joining the winning streak now.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Imagine a place where voices matter, where every corner, every street, every community is a platform.
A big bus moving through Accra, carrying conversations, questions, and the pulse of the nation. This is not just another show, it's your voice on the move.
Join us as 3FM Sunrise hits the road, turning ordinary streets into platforms for extraordinary dialogue. Speak freely, listen deeply, and help shape the conversation that drives Ghana forward.
Look out for the bus and tune in exclusively on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
Radio Development Show Host of the Year, 2016-2017.
And the winner is John Hughes.
Hi, my name is Johnny Hughes, your community rights advocate, and I'm still on the quest to bring smiles into your communities with Community Connect on 3FM 92.7. Join me this and every Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on 3FM, and together we will solve the problems bothering your communities.
I know your program is a program that always get a result. Myself, I'm a witness to that.
What can we do to help your community today in terms of education, health, sanitation, security, and all the issues in between from your community's perspective? Tune in to Community Connect every Friday morning at 9 a.m. as we get interactive live on radio and on Twitter at 3FM 927 and on Facebook at 3FM 92.7. Community Connect, helping solve your community problems.
The most comprehensive election coverage.
Top-notch presenters and well-versed analysts.
Dedicated reporters and correspondents in every nook and cranny across the country.
All the action, every incident reported. All the big stories covered.
All facts cross-checked. Every figure verified.
Every vote monitored and accounted for.
The numbers tallied, analyzed, and interpreted.
We have invested time and energy in order to bring you a comprehensive elections coverage.
The whole world will be watching us on TV, online, and radio.
Election Command Center. Facts, analysis, results.
This is 3FM 92.7, your election command center.
It's 60 days to election 2024. If you decide to do the right thing, Ghana will have peaceful elections this year.
The best in the morning is on 92.7, Sunrise on 3FM. The best in the morning is on 92.7, Sunrise on 3.
meeting with organized labor's response. We have concluded as follows. Our strike remains unchanged. I want to repeat. The strike notice remains unchanged. We have the view that what the government has proposed to do does not adequately address our demands. And therefore, our notice of strike notice remains unchanged. Thank you.
So thank you so much indeed. This is Sunrise on 3FM 92.7, and a group called Eco-Conscious Citizens, led by Ola Sewa. They have CSO demands that they're making of the president. They say all parties of persons aspiring for political office must sign up to reclaiming and restoring water bodies, farmlands and forests, and upholding polluter pays principle. Immediately declare a state of emergency in line with Section 31 and 31.4 of the 1992 Constitution in order to fight the environmental terrorists, deploy the police and military to remove all miners and mining equipment from our water bodies, forest reserves and farmlands, repeal LI 2462, and ensuring that there is no mining or logging in protected forest reserves or globally significant biodiversity areas, pause small-scale or community mining, and stop issuing licenses, cause environmental terrorists and all persons named in Prof. Frimpong Boaten's report to be investigated. This is signed by Ola Sewa. She is a senior servant or the chief servant at Eco-Conscious Citizens here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Dr. Ekwia Amoako is with the MPP's National Communications Team. Hajia Gloria Nasiratu Amenu is also a youth leader and a communications team member of the Movement for Change, and they are my guests in studio. Ladies, welcome back. Thank you so much indeed. Now we move on to the question of Galamsey. And the Ministry of Information has issued a statement giving a directive or directives as to what to do next and how to move forward. The tape I just played for you is the General Secretary General of the Organized Labor, TUC, would say that, look, we are not satisfied with what the President has said to us in the meeting. We have seen the Information Ministry's press statement. We are not satisfied. Our 10th of October strike will come on unabated. Are they pushing too hard?
Not at all. Not at all. I would have even wished if more people can join, maybe the Ministry of Women, and because I'm passionate, I'm a woman. I have 4 daughters. It will get to a time where most Ghanaian ladies will have issues with cervical cancer. We are all washing our bodies with mercury and lead. That is worrying. It is heartbreaking because this thing is a state is an emergency.
Is it?
It is.
The president doesn't see it as an emergency.
That's
he thinks he needs more time to be able to deal with it.
Time for what?
Time to reflect
and
take the best decision.
If we were able to use huge amounts of money to collapse some banks, yes, years ago.
They restructured the bank.
No banks were collapsed. Let's stop
restructuring
that
or whatever.
Misinformation. No banks were collapsed. When this government came into power and we looked at the banking sector, there are BOG reports for all of this. So I just wish people will stop saying that. A lot of banks that were performing poorly, some of them capital adequacy ratio is -70. They had given loans to their own. No, so just to clarify what you said, they had given loans to their own shareholders and directors, the loan stock of the company, about 70% was to shareholders and directors. Defaulting, the previous government was aware about all of these things. There's a 2016 Bank of Ghana report that says everything is detailed there. A lot of them were surviving on liquidity support from the Bank of Ghana. Then we come and we try to sanitize the center. You are saying banks are closed. If you had an account in Unibank,
but the banks
right
have been
now
merged.
you can go to, yes,
closed.
they've been merged. If you had money in Unibank, you can go to CBG, you get your money. Not so. Yeah.
I see.
Yes, I had an account in Unibank and it was merged with CBG and there was nothing.
So you got all the money.
What happened
to my
staff?
Yes, there was a big issue going on there. Can you imagine Unibank was surviving on liquidity support for 2 good years? So is that something we should keep?
Could we have used the monies?
Unibank?
Could we have used the monies that we used to close because people are still at home? They don't have work to do.
Honestly, if
could we have used the monies to resuscitate them?
No, a lot that had been done. See, whenever this banking sector, I get very emotional because people are doing politics with it without even trying to understand. All you need to do is sit down, take time. These Bank of Ghana reports, they are on the internet. You don't even need to know anybody there to get access to and read it. You will be shocked at what was happening with our own money.
Okay.
The banks were holding money of businesses. So would you rather the system just crashes than the businesses, the money that the businesses were keeping there, they don't have access to that money anymore? We would not just lose our personal money. Businesses would have collapsed and everything.
People still have their money stuck, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. So it's not a perfect system, but this was the best solution at that time.
After spending all that money.
So at that time,
all that money, the money that was
she's taking my time.
No, I'll give you your time.
Come back to it. The money that was allotted to this banking sector.
She's burning with emotion.
Yes, it covered the problems in the microfinance sector as well, because that whole sector collapsed because nothing was done.
347 of those microfinance.
Nobody was able to retain their job there. But in this, about 50% or so of the workers of these banks, when it was made, they still had their jobs.
So the people who
a
have
lot
gone
of the
home,
depositors were able to get their money back. That was the best kind of solution.
Okay, I hear you. So you were saying we spent so much money to.
We thank you for the. We are grateful
intervention.
For your clarification.
So
but I still stand on
money
this
to do to collapse the bank, not restructure.
No, we didn't.
Not restructure. Okay, you have made your point.
So you've made your
to
point.
Restructure or collapse. What do you want to say?
Both. It was restructured and
go ahead, make
collapsed.
Your point, please.
So if we were able to do that, why don't do the same for Galamsey? Why don't you close down all the Galamsey sites? Make sure that our water bodies are safe for human consumption. There is a lot that can be done to stop these people. When the demonstrators went to the grounds, we saw the number of police that was deployed there. Just recently, the one that was ended last weekend.
A 3-day demonstration.
See the number of policemen who were available. I was even surprised. I was like, seriously, do we have all these policemen in Ghana here? You see, so why don't we deploy all these policemen to grounds? Stop Galamsey now. Just to stop Galamsey.
It's just that we've tried that before. We tried that with Operation Vanguard. We sent police, military, immigration officers, Operation Halt 1 and 2.
So why didn't
Operation Galam Stop is a software, by the way.
It didn't work because we are all thinking that there are certain main people that we are not targeting.
I don't understand.
I am saying that I think that there are some top men up there somewhere, because if these Galamsey operators don't have backing from somewhere, they can't operate. They can't pay security men to stay by them 24/7 to make sure they work. What time do they go there to do the Galamsey at all? And why are we not seeing?
As you speak this morning, I'm sure if you go to the site, you find them.
So if when the president came out during the COVID to say there is a lockdown, there was nobody on the streets.
Right.
So our father, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa, comes out to say nobody should go to the Galamsey sites. Who there goes there?
But now the statement from the Ministry of Information has declared those places red zones. So that's technically the same thing. The police and military were told by the Information Ministry will be deployed to those places.
But how
Is
sure
that
are
not
we?
enough?
How sure are we that they are not there operating?
Well, they were just deployed yesterday. The statement just came out yesterday. So maybe with the passage of time, you would see something happen. Yes. Or you are still doubtful?
Very doubtful.
Do you want the president to speak?
Yes.
Why
is he quiet? My issue is, why is he quiet on the whole?
Bachidangwa says he's observing everything that is going on.
Which kind of observation is this? He should be as passionate as I am right now about this issue, because I don't think everybody in Ghana here can afford to buy water, pure water, purified water to drink. The people in those rural areas don't even have access to water, purified water. They drink from the main sources,
the streams and rivers.
Streams. So I am for the voices of those people there.
But who says that if you buy water from bottling
it's not even safe. It's not,
because now our purification system does not have the capacity to take out mercury and cyanide and lead.
Of course,
we only add chlorine and
of course. So it's not safe to everybody. But just imagine the thousands of people who just take the water from the source, pour alum. You see the
video we showed of the
Yaka woman demonstrating, and they don't even measure the alum they pour in the water. They just pour as much as it gets the water clear. Use that to cook the food. So just imagine this. Why is he quiet? He should just come out, say something. We are all expecting him. Just like when your child is worrying you, you tell the child something to calm him. Why is he quiet? That is my question. I don't know if Doc can answer that. Why he's quiet? I don't know. But then
Doc, why is the president
he should voice
quiet?
out. He should voice out and tell us something.
So we live in a state where the president has ministers and they work on the behalf of the ministers. So the Ministry of Information has issued a statement. When I was coming, I also saw that the lands minister is also doing some engagements. So the government is talking. I'm here. The government is talking.
During COVID.
We didn't vote for you or fight for
Yes,
during COVID, all these people were there. But we had
one at a time.
The way that the government runs, the president appoints ministers to work on his behalf.
Right.
That we have a whole ministry for information. So if the information has come out from Ministry of Information, I don't see what the problem is.
Did we not have the Ministry of Information, Ministry of Health, and the president was holding our ears every Sunday to say fellow Ghanaians?
I don't think holding your ears is that fair. Okay, so that was a very special case, the COVID-19 pandemic.
Is this not special?
We did not know what we were going into at that point. And I think it's premature. The president might surprise us and actually...
We don't want surprises.
No, he has issued a statement.
No,
he has issued a statement through the Ministry of Information, which is absolutely the way the system should run. She also said something about, what's it called? The miners will not have the capacity to pay these people. I'm beginning to believe that my dear sister here does not really have an understanding of what goes on in Galamsey.
What goes on?
These are people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they don't need anybody.
How did you know that?
No, I've had the time to actually visit some concessions of some small-scale miners. This was even when I was much younger under President Mohammed's reign.
Have you done that recently?
No, I haven't had the time to. When I was in Kumasi, it was much easier. Manso and Co. It just takes 2 hours and you are there. So I visited one of these huge concessions. This guy had a huge small-scale mining concession. Another thing that I'm seeing a lot of is the vilifying and the mixture of the people that have they are doing small-scale mining. They are trying to do their best and mixing that with the people that are mining in the water bodies. This person had excavated like a lot of huge machinery. The investment I was seeing there was maybe $500,000 investment that he was doing on that large-scale concession, and he was doing all of this as well to prospect for Newmont. He was hoping to offload that concession to Newmont. He had over 100 people working there and that was a large operation. Was
that in a forest reserve?
No, it wasn't in a forest reserve.
But now we are mining in forest reserves.
And we've repealed the LI.
But did it make sense in the first place to allow people to go into forest reserves?
A discussion of that can be had, but let me land on this one so I don't forget where I was going with this point, because now I've noticed that and I get lost in what I'm saying.
Okay.
So let me land on that. So when the whole issue, we placed the ban on small-scale mining. This person is a very upstanding person, so he absolutely stopped. He dropped everything and stopped, and I don't even think he has gone back. He has just abandoned that line of business. What do you think happened to the 100 people that were on his concession? They cannot now afford to do that mining on that scale, to be moving into rock mining. So what they would do is organize maybe 10 of them. Then they'll go and buy a champagne machine because that's much cheaper than doing it on that scale. And they'll go into the river and dredge it. So this is an issue.
And they will drive past the National Security, they drive past the Forestry Commission.
So that's what
drive past the police,
our law enforcement should be bolstered. There's no doubt about that. But if you sit back and then you have a very micro lens on the issue, you will miss it all. It is a very complex, multi-dimensional issue that requires a new approach, a new set of eyes to be able to deal with it. Nobody is here hoping that and enjoying that our water bodies are destroyed. Nobody is here enjoying that it's costing Ghana water more money.
Cabinet had a meeting in March of 2019, according to the Frimpong Boaten report, and said that all forms of mining should be halted. You remember that?
2019. When was the moratorium on small-scale mining placed?
It was around the same period.
Yes,
it was a cabinet decision.
Yes.
Now, subsequently, it came to light. Professor Frimpong Boaten brought out in this report that when that cabinet decision was taken, everybody was clear in their minds that that was going to happen. Only for him to go back into the space and find that it was not working. In fact, around that same time, Minerals Commission was granting licenses to people
exactly
to go and mine.
What I'm saying about the way the thing is multidimensional. This government has tried an approach of banning small-scale mining for 9 months.
So hold on, please. So you sit in a cabinet meeting. Professor Frimpong Boaten is there as Minister for Environment. Then the Lands Minister at the time, John Peter Moyo, is there, right? And then you leave the cabinet meeting having agreed that this should be banned. Only for you to go out there, for Frimpong Boaten to go and know that Mr. Peter Amewu, who is a Lands Minister, who is also a cabinet minister, is looking on while an agency under him, the Minerals Commission, is granting licenses. How do you come and blame the citizens for it?
We are not blaming the citizens. I don't think anybody is here blaming the citizens. We are just trying to look at the situation in a manner where we'll be able to find solutions.
Has the government done self-introspection?
Yes, I think a lot of self-introspection has been done in the matter of small-scale mining, and that's why we've come out with a new comprehensive approach that we feel will work. The truth is not... See, if you've actually read the entire Frimpong Boaten report, it casts damaging stones at people across the political divide.
Right, I've read the report from the back.
Me too, back to back, several times.
Right.
There's the damaging... If we want to discuss it, you will get one NDC here, one, and we'll keep doing that till the close of day. What it is that there's a lot of money involved in this. How are we able to make sure that it is done properly without distraction to our water bodies?
Would you support that the people in mentioning the Frimpong Boaten report be dealt with in accordance with the law?
Personally, of course, why not? Personally, of course, why not? But the issue, I mean, you said you've read it. Some of the things, I'm not a lawyer, but somebody like this video of Kweku Boahen and that shows Mr. Tonio. He said he didn't talk, but he was in the video. And then another one of their parliamentary candidates at that time, when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had put his presidency on the line to fight Galamsey.
Said he was prepared to put his presidency.
Yes, was burning the excavators, had trained trained 4,000 miners in sustainable ways of mining. So many students were given to them for alternative livelihood program. That's when the Operation Vanguard, all of it was in the heat of it, sending the military after them. The ex-president was telling us that we shouldn't send military after these people.
This was, you're talking about the recent
2020,
thing.
I'm building on something. We shouldn't send the military after these people. He will grant them amnesty when he's voted into power. His people were going to the mining sites and telling them all of these things, that you should vote for me, blah, blah, blah. One thing I was asking myself is that we all saw what Kweku Boahen said, and even in the other video, I don't know if you've seen the other video where the person is saying that, oh dear, Okona say, Tomado Mahama, we now Yabobo Abanana, Wenia, oh dear, men train will be a bra, Nasa Betwa, where you maneso. Honestly, what he has said is despicable.
It's interesting that you're only mentioning NDC.
No,
there's an MPP candidate in the Western region who had the regional minister, who was the head of Regional Security Council, seated right behind. He said that if you go to your pits and the police come, beat them, we will come and rescue you.
Yes, and I think he was. The police called him for that.
The National Women's Organizer of the party, is on radio saying that, look, let's postpone the fight against Galamsey until after the elections. If we do this to ourselves, How do we solve the problem?
Exactly my point. And so if you allowed me to land, I think the question...
No, because then you were using just one set of examples.
Yeah, so it's okay that you brought King Jemfua, who has also said on several platforms that she has been doing small-scale mining for 32 years. So the argument that people are making that it's an MPP problem, as though if by mistake we bring the person who tried the fight himself. John Mahama has also tried the fight against small-scale mining before and failed woefully, to the point that his Minister of Environment also said that he could not battle it. So if we make that mistake of bringing somebody who has failed and has not even brought any new approach to fighting, because I've gone through his manifesto, if he has something else, then I hope he can come and tell us. I'll come to what he was also saying about nobody in his administration will be able to... When you have a parliamentary candidate, Amenfi Central, who is also on video somewhere saying that she started Galamsey when she was 8 years old. So I'm sorry, Mr. Mahama, we are not seeing any results from you.
The Galamsey that we see now,
the video of...
The Galamsey that we see now, and the Galamsey that I knew as a small boy growing up, where they use hand tools, yes, alluvial gold and all of that. Yes. It's not what we are seeing
now.
A
lot of people are still panning though.
What we are seeing now is Chamfan in the heart of the river. Which
obviously has to be seriously dealt with a new approach, because she was saying there are so many police people that she saw, blah blah blah. If I'm not wrong, the police force of the country is about 100,000. If I'm not wrong, I mean, you can give me the true figure.
About
100,000. The number of people we estimate, and this research I read was even somewhere in 2015, 2014, that the number of people in small scale mining are over 1 million. Directly, over 1 million. This and small scale, I don't know if you've seen the videos of people mining under their beds, mining and somebody is doing it in the night. So if your solution is as simple as just sending police there, do you really think you will get headway? And we have tried that. You know, funny enough, when we put a ban on small scale mining for 9 months, the country was still producing so much gold. Where was it coming from?
Why were the authorities not asking?
These are questions we've asked ourselves now, and so we've been able to come up with a new approach.
Let me ask you a question. You are a medical doctor. What does mercury do to us when we ingest it into our bodies?
Okay, so the effects of mercury have been well documented over time. There's an immediate effect that's when you get really high levels of mercury, and then it can stay in your body for some time, and then you have long-term effects like obviously it's a heavy metal, so you can expect some mutation and then damage to your internal organs. That's all very well documented, and so that's why this fight should be taken very seriously, and that's why approaches that have already been done. And we've seen the problems with these things. Sending the police.
You have not answered my question. You have only told me that it's been documented. What is documented?
No,
give me examples. Give me examples of what could happen for the layman.
No, mutation meaning you are. A few cells can be mutated. I've heard somebody use polydactyly, that's meaning having an extra digit, but I haven't really seen any research.
As an extra finger or something.
I've not seen any research to prove that. Polydactyly is something that actually really occurs all the time, and sometimes it's genetic. We've not really been able to get to the point of that. Some people want to attribute it to that. We need to see more research to go into that. It will destroy some of your internal organs. So obviously it is going to lead you to an early death. And if you consume a large amount of mercury at a go, that is very toxic to you and can lead to multiple organ failure. So yes.
So you could die.
Yes, but that's the thing. And that is my issue with all of this. We know mercury is very bad and has to be done away with. In fact, there was world leaders sat down some time ago, the Minamata Convention, to try and do away with mercury.
In fact, in 2020, we got $8 million as a country to fight that.
Yeah, so signed on to the Minamata. It even used to be in our teeth, that dental amalgam had mercury, because we didn't really see it as a serious thing. But one thing we learned is that its accumulation of it can lead to problems down the line. Another issue, I was talking to the officials from the Ghana Water recently, where they were saying that, this whole issue is seeming to gather some wings of its own, and it's being sensationalized and whatnot, that they are still able to purify the water such that we don't have high concentrations of heavy metals. And that's one issue that they've been fighting for a very long time, is the position of heavy metals in the water, even heavy metals that are not from Galamsey. So obviously our water issue needs to be looked at properly.
Okay, let me bring Hajia in. Hajia, you've been listening, and I'm thinking, okay, should we get the FDA to start looking at the prerequisites or requirements for okaying bottled water, for example, for consumption? Because now, no, they do that when we didn't have this problem on our hands.
No, Johnny,
now that we have this problem on our hands,
we've had this problem on our hands for a very long time.
I'm saying that this water, if you give birth to a child now, or over the last 2-3 years, my son Obrimpong, if I take him to a riverside, he will see brown water. His impression of what a river is brown.
Yes.
When I was a child, my impression of what water is was not brown. So the standards that the FDA had then, trying to okay that, your water is okay, blah blah blah, turbidity, etc., all those things, it's not the same standard that they should be using now, because now things have changed. Now there's more galamsey, there's more mercury, there's more cyanide, there's more lead. So they can't be using the same standards. They need to start changing it. But what do you think of all this talk? Doc says don't bring back the same person, don't use the same method, change it, and Dr. Bawumia is promising. What is Alan promising?
You see, this issue is quite interesting, because when she's talking, she make reference to NDC, and we don't forget too that MPP is also in power now, and Ghanaians should realize that it's a big issue when it comes to NDC and MPP, because they are all doing blame games.
Right.
And we forgot that during NDC regime, we had issues of galamsey.
That's right.
During MPP regime, we still have issues, serious issues of galamsey.
Right.
So we have to put NDC, MPP aside. We should make sure that this December elections, we bring a movement for change.
What is your plan?
Alan, with the great transformational plan, where he talks about galamsey and the steps.
What is he going to do about galamsey? Tell us.
Aggressively going to stop galamsey.
How? Sorry, I couldn't hold myself.
But
it's just putting a ban on galamsey. Nobody should go to the galamsey sites.
Then we don't need him, because Nanado has just announced that there should be a ban on mining, forest reserves, etc.
Of course.
So
we still need him.
So give us a proper recipe, if not.
He's saying he's going to bring in the chiefs and then bring them on board. He said?
We've also said that. Sorry.
Look, allow it.
You see, we brought out the GTP before they stole all those ideas from us.
They stole
all those ideas. I can't remember being on air and telling them we are going to borrow them the ideas. You see, so with all these rules and regulations, we have to make sure that they are being implemented. The rules were there, but they were not being enforced. So Alan is saying if he comes, he's going to enforce.
So you have not been happy with how NDC and MPP have handled this galamsey matter?
Not at all.
What alternative? Because if you chase people away from the galamsey sites, then you have to create alternative employment for them. I remember that the MPP at the time, in the beginning, before Operation Vanguard, I was just around the time, said that, we're chasing them out. Somebody suggested that, they're going to go back to logging. It's okay. There's a reason we're going to have one district plant factory, one village, one dam, planting for food and jobs. That was the plan, to create that alternative for them.
And all those were not.
Now people are still logging, people are still galamseying. You have a few factories around. PFJ, you are not too sure, because if you go to the market, we know what we have even had cause to ban the exportation of food and all of that. So question is, what new thing are you presenting?
So the man Alan is suggesting that he's going to make sure that he groups all these galamseyers into how do you call
cooperatives
it? Cooperatives. Yes, because it's if you know that this is the man who is at this site and he's using chemicals to mercury and stuff to do, you attack him. You know that this is the person on that team in charge of it. You understand? So he has suggested so many things, and that he's going to group them, make sure that all the licenses were given, even though they said there is a ban on Galamsey. If there is a ban on Galamsey and you are still giving the license, what are they using the license?
But small scale mining is not Galamsey. That's the difference.
That's the difference.
So small scale mining is not Galamsey. Galamsey is illegal.
But for now, there should be a ban on all mining activities.
Would that be fair to those who have invested their monies into equipment? They have gone to banks for facilities.
We are all at risk. The whole country is at risk. So it's not being fair to somebody when you know that if the person is going to be fair to every Ghanaian, then he has to comply and stop for some time. We are not saying stop forever. No, for some time. Because even if we have more gold and we are not able to have the end product, we give the raw material out to foreigners. They take it away, go and make it into foreign finished product, bring it back and sell it to us at a higher cost. All this should be looked at.
So you're saying it is possible that small scale mining could also be illegal? Some small scale mining people could be engaging in illegality.
Some of them are illegal.
We have to go our time, yes, up. Doc,
already?
30 seconds. Yes. We've been having a lot of fun. Come and buy our time.
Oh, Johnny, because I really wanted to go into our plan on this Galamsey issue.
You've been speaking for 1 hour, 30 minutes.
I didn't even realize.
Yes, because the conversation is sweet. Come and buy our time. We'll do some more. But I want to thank you very much indeed for coming, Doc. We're grateful. That's Dr. Akua Amoako. This is the MPP's National Communications Team member. Also, Hajia Gloria Nasiratu Aminu, youth leader and communications team member of the Movement for Change. Ladies, thank you so much indeed for coming. And we will do some birthdays, but first, Abiam, give me some music. We'll give you the winning numbers for Game Park this morning. You